My name is Tiffany. I'm 33 years old. And my mother told me to pack my things that same night because, in her words, my sister got sick every time she saw my face. I didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't even ask why. I picked up one bag and walked out without saying goodbye. 7 days of complete silence passed. Then, on the seventh night, my phone lit up all at once, and what my sister finally admitted on that call changed absolutely everything. If you truly love and appreciate your parents, take just 1 second to subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to us. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which country are you watching from? In our house, everything had always revolved around my sister, her moods, her needs, her fragile emotions. I was just the extra piece nobody really wanted but didn't quite know how to get rid of until that night. I stood there checking my mother's face for even a flicker of hesitation. There wasn't any. My sister sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket like the victim of something terrible, refusing to even look at me. My father stayed silent, like always, pretending this was normal. Pack your things tonight, my mother repeated, colder the second time. So I did. I went to the same room I'd grown up in, walls that had heard me cry more nights than I could count. I grabbed one bag, not two, not three. Something in me had snapped quietly and completely. If they could throw me out like I was nothing, I would leave like I needed nothing. I walked out without a word. The door clicked shut behind me, but it felt louder than anything I'd ever heard, like the final sentence of a story that had already been written long before I was ready to read it. The first night was the hardest. I sat in my car under a dim streetlight for hours, staring at my phone. No messages, no calls. Part of me expected my father to reach out to say this had gone too far. Nothing came. So I drove until I found a cheap motel on the edge of town, the kind of place that doesn't ask questions and doesn't get any either. I paid for a few nights and just sat there in silence. I expected to feel broken. Instead, I felt empty, like someone had finally lifted a weight I hadn't even realized I'd been carrying my whole life. Day one passed, then day two. Not one call for 7 days straight. I started noticing things I never had before. How quiet life could actually be without constant tension. How peaceful it felt waking up without walking on eggshells. No accusations, no guilt, no comparisons. By day three, I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. By day four, I'd stopped expecting anything at all. I found a small cafe nearby and started spending mornings there with coffee and a notebook, just sitting in silence. For the first time in years, I could actually hear my own thoughts. And what surprised me most was that they weren't angry or even sad. They were clear. I started writing about myself, what I actually wanted, what I'd ignored for years just to keep peace at home. Something started shifting. By day five, I realized something uncomfortable, that getting kicked out might not have been the worst thing that ever happened to me. It might have been the first honest thing my family had ever done. No more pretending, no more false smiles. Just the truth laid out bare, and somehow that felt freeing. Still, a small part of me waited, not out of need, but curiosity, to see if they'd ever realize what they'd done. Day six passed in complete silence. By day seven, I'd already decided. I wasn't going back, no matter what happened next. Because if someone can throw you away that easily, you don't go back the moment they change their mind. That night, everything changed at once. I sat on the edge of the motel bed, staring at my phone one last time before shutting it off completely. Then it lit up. Dad calling. I didn't move. It stopped. Then Mom. Then again. Then my sister. I let it ring, feeling powerful at first, like I finally controlled something that had controlled my entire life. But as the calls kept coming, something else crept in. Not guilt. Not weakness. Clarity. A message came through from Mom. Please pick up. It's urgent. I almost laughed. It hadn't been urgent when she told me to pack my things. It hadn't been urgent through 7 nights alone in a motel, but now it was urgent. Another message from Dad. We need to talk, please. Need, not want. That word hit differently. Then finally my sister. I'm sorry, I froze. Those two words were rare, too rare. She had never once apologized to me, not for the lies, not for the manipulation, not for the way she always twisted things until I was the problem. The phone rang again. Mom. This time I answered and just listened. Tiffany, please don't hang up, she said, shaky, almost panicked. I could hear my father's voice in the background, telling her to put it on speaker, hear movement, tension, something breaking apart in the house. I'd just left. I asked, calm, too calm, what had happened. A long pause. Then her voice changed completely, no longer cold or controlling, just desperate. We made a mistake. I closed my eyes. Not an explanation. Not an excuse. Just a mistake. I didn't respond. My sister's voice cut in suddenly, shaky, nothing like her usual confidence. I told them to say that. I said you were making me sick. I said I couldn't handle being around you. I already knew that part. Then she said something I didn't expect. I lied. Silence filled the call. I wasn't sick because of you, she continued. I just didn't want you there anymore. I didn't like that you were starting to stand up for yourself. I didn't like that mom and dad were finally listening to you sometimes. So I made it worse. I exaggerated everything. My grip tightened on the phone. 7 days of silence, and now the truth just spilled out like it was nothing. My father spoke next, heavy-voiced. We didn't know. I cut him off. You didn't want to know. That stopped him, because it was the truth none of them wanted to admit. It had always been easier to believe I was the problem than to question her. My mother started crying softly. Please come back. We'll fix this. We'll make things right. Fix.
Right.
Words that sounded good and meant nothing. I looked around that small motel room, the bare walls, the single bag by the chair, the quiet, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I had space to actually breathe. You kicked me out, I said slowly. You didn't even hesitate. We were wrong, my father said quickly. We'll make it up to you. I let out a small breath. That's the thing about people who break you. They always think it can be fixed with the right words at the right time, but timing matters, and theirs had already passed. I'm not coming back, I said. Heavy, crushing silence. My mother's voice broke. Tiffany, please. No, I said firmer this time. You don't get to throw me away and then call me back when it's convenient. My sister started crying again, but it didn't move me the way it used to, because now I could finally see all of it clearly. I hope you figure things out, I continued. I really do. But I'm done being the easiest person to blame. My father tried once more. At least let us help you. I don't need help, I said. Not from people who only see my value when I'm gone. And I hung up. No hesitation. No second thoughts. Just done. I sat there staring at the silent phone, and then something unexpected happened. I smiled. Not because it didn't hurt, but because for the first time, the hurt didn't control me. The next morning, I checked out of that motel, not because I had somewhere perfect waiting, but because I was finally ready to move forward on my own terms.